Many thanks for staying with us. Of course, this is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. Right now, let's talk about something really, really sad that happened in the previous weeks. The recent food stampede in Nigeria, a heartbreaking reflection of the country's severe hunger crisis. At least 32 persons lost their lives in stampedes during Christmas charity events in Ibadan, your state, Anambra, and Abuja, with many more injured. The victims include, unfortunately, also children who died while struggling to access food items, highlighting the desperation and poverty faced by many families. The country's inflation rate has risen to 34.6%, with food inflation surging to 39.93%, making it difficult for people to afford basic necessities like rice, beans, and onions. The prices of these items have increased significantly over the past year, with a 50 kilogram of rice or bag of rice, which of course rising to as high as 66% to over 100,000. I mean, this just shows us the glaring reality of the average Nigerian. Well, joining me on the program this evening to discuss this unfortunate event and, of course, matters around it is Declan Ihekaire, is the National Coordinator Activist for Good Governance. Declan, thank you so much for your time on the program. It's great to have you again. I mean, really sad and very unfortunate events happened in some parts of the country. We saw that of Oyo State, where about 35 children lost their lives, and what was meant to actually be maybe the happiest day, in the lives of many of those kids, because it was a charity event that was organized to give back to society. And then we saw another one happen in Anambra State and another in Abuja. And for many Nigerians that, observe events like this, they will say this is not the first time charity events are being organized. But unfortunately, the manner and the rate of people losing their lives in stampede as a result of, trying to get, these giveaways is pretty much alarming. What does this reflect of the Nigerian situation?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a very painful situation. It's a very bad situation that the government in power should accept responsibility. It used to be stampedes, people looking for a job. But it has gotten to a deadlier level of people being stampeded for food. Not job now, because the job is gone. You can only seek for a job when there's job. At this point in time, Nigerians are not even looking for a job because there are no jobs. So they are just trying to get something to eat. And so what has happened is a vote of no confidence on the government in power at the central and at the state levels. And what am I trying to say? It's not enough to blame the organizers of those events. It's not enough. They were trying to do what you could not do as a government. So in as much as you are now saying they should be investigated and be prosecuted if possible for doing what you ought to have done, which the Constitution mandates you to do to the citizens, you as a government should also question yourself by creating the avenue, a very negative avenue, that has led to people just trying to eat something. And don't forget, in a quick, Nigerians are dying every day. We're only seeing or only hearing the Ibadan, the Anambra, and other places. Nigerians are dying every day for hunger. In those days when you see area boys, they would ask you, give me money. They don't ask for money again, they ask for food. In my recent post some time ago, I posted that things that were not happening in Southwest have started happening. And people were wondering. In those days, I used to hear about Amajiris in the north, and they are still there, where they run after food. Now in the southwest, here in Nigeria today, go to a party where you don't have security guards there, where you don't have the all these bouncers there. You can't just drop your food and tend to go and ease yourself. The food will be taken away by Nigerians that are hungry. And yet, the government is not doing anything about it.
As you said the government should be blamed for this.
Yes.
But there are some that will tell you that what is happening in Nigeria in terms of the economy is not peculiar to Nigeria alone, but a global phenomenon. And they might even go as far as stating countries to tell you that, look, Nigeria is still maybe way above the threshold, poverty threshold.
Let them state those countries, and I'll tell you that Nigeria is blessed more than those countries. Nigeria is richer more than those countries. Let them mention those countries. Nigeria is a country that Nigerians should not even be begging for food. Nigeria as a nation is a country that an average Nigerian should be paid money on a weekly basis. We have everything it takes, but we have people in power who don't care about the people they are ruling on. You have a set of people in power who care about themselves, who appropriate things to themselves and not to the people. And so you begin to wonder, why would such an event that ought to have been a fun fair turn to be very tragic? All because people are hungry. I'll give you an instance now. You dare go to a party in Lagos here today, and you don't have bouncers there, and you are served. You will see children, you will see adults coming after your food to pick those foods. So we have gotten to a level in this nation that Nigerians no longer seek for jobs because the jobs are gone. So they are seeking for things to eat. And they can eat anything. And so for me, I would say whoever is saying that is a global thing, they should name such countries, and I'll tell them Nigeria is more blessed than those countries. If only those countries have quarter of what we have, they will not find themselves in that level.
Now, the president recently presented the proposed budget for next year. I mean, the figure, very ambitious, 47 trillion naira, 47 plus trillion naira. And of course, a revenue target of over 34 trillion naira. I mean, some items are pretty much captured in that budget. Part of it is security, education, health. And the president also said something, during that presentation, that he hopes to drop the inflation rate from over 30% to 15%. The president also talked about shoring up the value of the currency, the local currency, which is the naira, which of course is about 1,700 to $1 right now to 1,500, by next year. I mean, what do you make of his presentation and his ambition towards it?
Well, for me, there's nothing he has said that is new. Everything he has said, I'm going to make sure naira appreciates. We've been hearing that. Has he appreciated? At a time, they were using naira to buy dollar. And they were busy playing government magic. And today, the reality is done on us. Of recent, they told us Port Harcourt refinery has started working. What has happened? It's very unfortunate that a country where the citizens are busy scavenging for food to eat has decided to appropriate so much money for security and less for agriculture.
But security is fundamental.
I tell you one thing, Nigeria is not in a war situation. The greatest war situation Nigerians have today is hunger.
But the president also highlighted in that speech that he wants farmers to go back to the farms, but security is a major issue which needs to be tackled.
Yes. Fine. Is that what he said? And I want to debunk that. Are there no military men in Borno? Are there no military men in all these places where Boko Haram are still operating freely? Are you telling me you don't have military men there? You have them there.
So is it a situation of the figure or the accountability and management of resources in that direction?
The figure, accountability. You keep on pumping money into security, and yet Nigeria is not secure. But what I'm saying is this: put more money in agriculture and infrastructure.
But they also pumped money there too.
They did, but what I'm telling you, the priority. You need to prioritize things. Nigerians are hungry. And if they are hungry, you need to empower that sector that must produce the food. And if you don't do that, you're missing the target. And I have to be realistic here tonight. I want to say clearly, until this government begin to accept blame, until this government at all levels begin to say, oh, we have gone wrong somewhere, we need to turn back and do the needful.
Are you saying that the government, the current administration, doesn't take blames?
Well, I think they appreciate more of international accolades. The IMF will come and clap for them, you are doing well. The World Bank and other agencies will come and clap for them and that they are doing well. I'm not in that caliber. I'm a grassroots person. Mr. President should come to the grassroots and ask people. Most of these people that got killed while they were trying to get food are local people. These are people who are the grassroots, the downtrodden. And whoever is at the helm of affair at the local government, at the state government, at state level and federal level should be more concerned about the grassroots people. And I'll give you an instance. I visited somewhere today in Lagos State, I think Shomolu local government. And I was so much pleased with what I saw at that local government, what the local government chairman, Honorable Abdul Hamad Salau, you know what he did? He went to the extent of making sure that health is wealth. He introduced a package for people of Shomolu where you can access health at a very
subsidized rate.
It's not even subsidized, zero level. These are the kind of impact that I want people to do, not throwing bags of rice here and there, and it doesn't get to the real people it should get to. I tell you, if the government today decides to say they want to give palliative for bags of rice, they should be ready with ambulances to pick Nigerians on the street. Because Nigerians are hungrier today than they were.
Declan, we need to go on a quick break.
Okay.
When we return, of course, we'll definitely pick up from where we stopped. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This, of course, is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. And at this time, we are looking at the very unfortunate event that happened across some parts of the country, where some persons died at a stampede during, of course, a celebration giveaway. I still have Declan Ihekaire, National Coordinator, Activist for Good Governance, in the studio. Thank you for staying with me, sir.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's talk about projections into the future, particularly when it comes to some of the policies put in place by this administration, and also the tax reforms being, pushed. What's your take?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I want to say that any policy that is being pushed by any government, whether the present or future, that is not targeted at ameliorating the pain of Nigerians, I think such policies should be checked again. We need people who are at the grassroots to be at the helm of affairs of our nation. People who understand when the shoe pains the ordinary man on the street. People who understand that ordinary inability to afford Panadol can lead to death are the kind of people we want. People who can disguise and visit places that downtrodden are. But because what we see is that you find that most of these people dictating the tune for us today, they have left the level they were. They are in another pedestal. And so they don't understand what we're saying. And that was why when people shout, there's hunger in the land, they tell you, calm down, it's going to be well. And you ask yourself, you ask Nigerians to calm down. You are not calming down. You are not calming down.
How do you mean?
Of course, You see Nigerians when they are sick, they remain in this country. They visit, some of them even visit quack clinics here and there. And you see the big men travel out at leisure for medical tourism. And I've said it time without number, until you have a situation in this country, Nigeria, where you have a government that will come and say, we are not going to travel to overseas for medical tourism. Our children are going to school here. Everything about us is going to be here. Until then, our educational system might not really be well.
So you are saying that the law should mandate that public servants use public facilities?
Absolutely, that's the best way to go. When they do that, they will understand the essence of securing those schools. Because when your child is in a public school, you want to secure that place.
All right.
You want to make sure the place is very fine. Okay? When you have a relative that visits a hospital and is not being treated well, they will cry to you, they will tell you, walk around it. But when you find it very easy to maneuver yourself, you just go out of the country because you can play around with our common resources. That's not fair.
All right. Declan, by 9 p.m. tonight, the president will be having the first ever, in his administration, will I call it press parley right now, where, of course, the president should field questions from the press. Are there expectations?
How I wish somebody like me would be invited to ask him questions.
What questions would you hope to be asked?
I will ask him, Mr. President, please, what is wrong with refinery? You did told us that Port Harcourt refinery is functioning. I'll ask him that. I will also ask him, what about the dollar? What is going on? I will also ask him, why would IMF and World Bank be the ones to tell you that you are doing well? Why we Nigerians are seeing that you're not doing well? And I know they will not allow me. Even the media, the mainstream media that will ask questions, don't be surprised they would have been censored. I want to see a situation where Mr. President will throw it open to Nigerians. We'll call in and ask questions.
So you want the phone lines open?
It should be open. That's the way to go. They will abuse you. They will curse you. That is the load that a leader should carry. But what you see is that you find a censored one, questions already prepared, answers are already there. And so we can't get it right that way. I want to tell you, if you are there tonight and you decide to ask questions outside the scope, if you are not worked out, I'm sure you will be challenged.
I would like to believe that, of course, the press will stand its ground and do what needs to be done.
Well,
but before I let you go, unfortunately, this event happened in these places. Do you suggest that a policy should be put in place to sort of regulate, will I call it giveaway moments, such that at the end of the day, we don't have people losing their lives, even though the intention is to give back to them and impact on them positively?
When Nigeria was not as bad as this, we're not getting this news. I told you what we're having then is job stampeding. Now, we're in a hunger for food stampeding. So the government should ask themselves, how do we ameliorate that situation? If they don't get to the root of it, despite this sad news we have had, more people will run after food. I was passing through somewhere in Agege today. I saw a canopy very close to Penn Cinema, and I saw a lot of elderly people seated, waiting to collect some few kg of rice or maybe gari in a country that is well blessed. So putting up policy to control an individual who wants to give out things, then they should as well put up policy to also check their own failure. Like I said, when a madman, the day a madman knows he's actually mad, he will be well. The day our government, our leaders appreciate the fact that they have gone wrong, Nigeria will be well. And I've given you instances of putting up policies to say, I'm not going to travel out for medical tourism. My children are going to school here. My relatives are going to school here. Let them try it, and they will see a better Nigeria. Nigerians are the best you can rule over. We're so much comfortable with little, but the little is not given to us.
All right, Declan, thank you so much for your time on the program tonight. Declan Ihekaire is the National Coordinator, Activist for Good Governance. He joined us live in the studio to discuss this topic. Thank you once again.
You're welcome.
All right, and this is where we drop the curtain tonight. Well, it's just a few, what I call it, hours to Christmas. It's never too late to still make somebody happy. Thank you for being such an amazing company. In case you missed out, you can actually catch up on our YouTube platform. There'll also be a repeat broadcast later tonight. You can choose to follow us across social media. The handle was just on your screen a while ago. You can choose to follow me personally too, at Dapo Adigboye. Until I come your way tomorrow, good night.